My best friend had lost his faith when Obama failed to be the Antichrist. He didn't declare himself an atheist the day after Obama left the White House, but after going through one season of Antichrist hysteria, nothing to show for it except burnt bridges and memories of embarrassing declarations, he quickly deconstructed from the faith when those declarations of prophecy didn't pan out. I felt responsible. I introduced him to Alex Jones, and we were combining Bible studies with conspiracy theory research. The Bible has a serpent conspiring right from Genesis 3 all the way through to the end of Revelation. The lies and deception one should expect to find in the world from reading the pages of the Bible, Alex Jones was showing us where to find them. My friend and I had gotten so consumed with studying the end times and conspiracy theories, we didn't have the energy or time to study to get a better job. If you believe you're living in the end times and Jesus is coming back soon, how can you not make it a priority to get as much information as you can to tell everyone you care about that this is happening? You feel if you don't, God's going to judge you, or the ones you love are going to miss out on God's kingdom and take the mark of the beast. As you start to tell your parents or aunts and uncles, they say, people were running around when they were our age saying the same thing and nothing happened. And people have been saying this since Jesus died, etc. We would always say, this is different. The technology is better. Obama is more charismatic. My friend was now working at an assisted living place. He had blocked me a while ago when I wouldn't let go about new evidence for the resurrection. If I could give my friend evidence the Antichrist is here, that we weren't wasting our lives, maybe he would turn back to following Jesus Christ. I knew the assisted living place had community visiting hours and went in. My friend stood up from the table he was playing cards at and gestured me to a nearby empty table. In a deadpan voice, he said, "What's the top secret evidence this time?" I said, "It's Zelenskyy. He's the anti." My friend said, "You can't even joke about that." I said, "I'm not joking." My friend said, "That's even worse. Dude, don't tell us to anyone else. You'll get beat up again, or arrested, or worse, and I can't blame them." If you are uttering these words out loud to anyone outside of your lone research bubble, you're defaming a guy who's being invaded by another country and doing everything he can to keep his people stay alive. No one will care that in some roundabout way you think you're trying to help. They will think, here you come again, making matters worse. Somehow finding a tragedy and somehow making it worse. I said, "Don't you want to hear my evidence?" My friend said, "No, I'm not going to entertain this. For your own good. You have to stop this. There's no Antichrist, there never will be, and you're just making people upset. You're hurting your own life. Find another way to be helpful. You only have this short life. You don't need to alienate everyone around you with this hurtful fantasy. If you want to make believe, that's fine, but try to do something positive, for your own good even." I said, "Look, I will leave and never come back if you just listen to this evidence." My friend said, "That's not okay. You should leave because I said I'm not interested, but for your own good and everyone else's you might disturb. How about if I'm not even slightly convinced after hearing this evidence, you agree to not just never come back, but retire this whole Zelenskyy witch hunt for good? Meaning, whatever evidence you have now, if it's underwhelming to me, you promise on God to drop Zelenskyy from your mouth unless you're saying supportive things." I said, "No, because whatever I say, you'll just won't listen and say not convincing, now I have to stop." My friend said, "Fine, I'll listen and prove that I listen by giving a rebuttal to Wyatt's illogical ramblings." I said, "So Zelenskyy, like you said, is being invaded and it's an unjust tragedy. Zelenskyy is uniquely the underdog everyone in the world is rooting for, with the exception of Putin and his allies. I heard Zelenskyy is a popular comic in Russia. He went from being an actor who miraculously became in the starring role." I stopped when my friend's coworker came over to our table to ask him a question. My friend had to get up and unlock something. When he came back, he said, "Okay, is that the gist of your evidence?" I said, "Well, no, there's these speeches where Zelensky's talking about the UN needing to reform and world courts to punish Putin and Zelenskyy talking about a world leader, and I think he wants people to associate himself with the title world leader. The same coworker from earlier came back and needed my friend to unlock or relock. When my friend came back, he said, "Look, in some ways, I know you think you're helping, but if you want to really help, why don't you work here? We're short-staffed, you don't need a college degree, the pay and benefits I know are better than what you're used to, and helping the needy, isn't that part of being a Christian?" I said, "I'll think about it, but this is game time. I gotta be working on getting this news out that this guy's the Antichrist." My friend said, "You will be relieved of that burden." I kept my end of the bargain. I listened, even though I didn't want to, and I'm not swayed 1 inch. He didn't provide any new evidence, like Zelenskyy wrote a book saying he made a deal with the devil. All your evidence was just a paranoid interpretation of known events. There's something twisted with how the Bible or conspiracy culture that gets you, a person who wants to help others, to see someone like Zelenskyy who's being invaded as the villain. Why don't you see Putin as the bad guy? I said, I don't think Putin's an angel. He's being manipulated by the devil to do this, to give Zelenskyy a giant to slay. Yes, I realize I can't prove that spiritual interpretation. Take all the spiritual stuff aside. Power corrupts, and if Zelenskyy topples Putin, gets a world court, becomes head of the new reformed UN, he would have so much power, even if he started off good. My friend said, right now, Zelenskyy is defending his country from a violent invasion. Now is the time to support him. And if by some chance he goes bad later and starts invading other countries, then we can talk about criticizing him. I said, well, what if it's too late? How will you refuse to take the mark of the beast if you forget about it as a real threat? If you don't get back to walking in faith, you'll be spellbound by the Antichrist. My friend said, I can't believe I used to do this with you. All the time I lost pretending I could predict the moves of an imaginary devil. I gotta get back to work. I imagine you won't keep your part of the bargain. I can't control that. But what I can control is you're not welcome here. Unless you want a job to really help people, I can help you help others. But you gotta start with stop bothering them with your crying wolf. I said, fine, I'll keep the bargain. I'll even work here and keep my mouth shut about the devil if you tell me one piece of evidence you'd accept. I would only tell you in private when I found it. I'll work here, keep my mouth shut, unless I find that piece. My friend said, okay, well, you're already bending the bargain. So that leads me to not fully trust you to stay silent. So you're gonna have to work night shift. And that's where I really need coverage. The only evidence I'd allow is if you be good, help people out, and somehow Zelenskyy wages war on you. Then I'll know he's bad. If he harms you, and I know you're only doing good, that's the one piece of evidence I'd know he's bad.